And now, Legal Perspective with Allie Menegakis.
You know, sometimes being a renter, you can feel a bit powerless when things go wrong between your four walls. But if you discover mold in your apartment, well, Allie Menegakis with the Clekis Law Firm is here to break down what South Carolina law says about mold and what steps tenants should take on this week's Legal Perspective. Glad to have you back.
Great to be back.
Okay, so this has been a problem that we've been hearing over and over again, particularly here in Charleston County. So what is the South Carolina law when it applies to renters' rights if they detect mold? Because it can be extremely damaging to your health.
It's so dangerous, and it's also so prevalent here in Charleston area. You think about that king tide that we had a few weeks ago and all the flooding that happened there. This mold is just constant, especially in these older buildings. But the law when it comes to renting is that renters or their landlords have a covenant of habitability. So basically, they have to make sure that the facility, the building that you're living in, is livable, right? Sure. And they have a duty to make repairs and fix things and fix the mold if they are aware of it.
Right, okay, if they are aware of it. So they're made aware of it, and then what is the next step? I mean, they do have to make those changes.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they can't, then there's different legal options that you have. They could either say, okay, we're going to let you out of the lease, or we're going to pay for you to stay at another place while we fix this. If they don't do that, you could have several different legal avenues that you can go down.
So let's say I just enter into a lease, and then maybe 6 months into it, I discover, oh, I see this black stuff is forming on my wall. That's mold. Uh-oh. What is the next step that I should take?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I try and tell clients and potential clients when it comes to mold issues or any kind of toxic issue in your living space is to document everything. And that's something that if you don't take advantage of it and you don't do it in the moment, you'll never be able to go back in time. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take photographs of it. And what I always encourage people to do is you can do these mold tests, right? You can do it yourself, you can mail it away. I recommend, if you can afford it, hiring someone, a third party, to come in and do an independent evaluation. That way you have a third party report that they can't try and say is tainted, or they can't question when you actually took this sampling.
I was going to say it's time stamped.
Exactly.
Right.
And they take photographs, and they're specialized in this field.
Sure.
And they'll give you an entire report and tell you, hey, this is this kind of mold, this is this kind of mold, this is dangerous to your health, and you can have that, and you can, if you want, provide that to your landlord and say, look, this is saying that this is unhealthy for me, I cannot live here at this time, either fix it immediately or let me out of my lease, or provide me funding for another place to live while you fix the issue.
What if your landlord stonewalls you? So, I mean, let's say that a renter does not have the resources to hire that third party, and they've gone to their landlord, they've done all the things that they themselves can control, but the landlord is saying, it's not mold, there's nothing I can do about it, it's your imagination, not letting you out of the lease.
The best thing that I can tell you to do in those situations, because there are a lot of legal avenues you can go down, is to contact an attorney as soon as possible so that you can prepare the foundations for legal recourse. What you don't want to do is just stop paying rent. A lot of people say, like, oh, well, they're not doing what I want, I'm just going to stop paying rent. Don't do that. Speak to a lawyer first, because there's a lot of legal obstacles when it comes to putting your landlord on notice and when you are required to pay rent and when you're allowed not to pay rent. So you don't want to make it difficult for yourself or get evicted or anything like that, and make your legal challenges or your legal actions more difficult in the future.
They say that the wheels of justice, they turn slowly, but also the wheels of landlords also turn very slowly. So you have to kind of be the gum at the bottom of the shoe. You have to be very persistent as well. So, and to also make sure to document every time you've walked into the office, every time you sent an email, every time you've made a call, to get their attention to address the situation.
And I'm glad you brought that up too, because when we say document as attorneys, I'm not just talking about calling or going to the office. I'm talking about putting it in writing. That's the biggest thing that I tell clients for all kinds of legal issues. Don't call, don't go in there in person, put it in writing, have it documented. If they try and call you and give you information back, tell them, give me an email. If they don't want to do that, take that call and then summarize it and memorialize it in an email to them afterwards.
Speaking of which, here in the state of South Carolina, one-party recording rights.
That's very true. Yes,
So
it is
you
a
could actually
one-party
record it.
consent
Yes.
state. Yeah, you want to be cautious with that. You know, I always recommend that people do notice the other person when they're recording, but technically, yes, it is a one-party consent state, meaning that you don't always have to ask permission to record someone's voice.
Okay, well, that would be another documentation.
But there are exceptions to that, so just be
There,
careful with
okay,
that.
all right. That's why you need to call this lady, Allie Menegakis. Thank you so much for coming on.
Always a pleasure.
Wonderful expertise. Clekis Law Firm. If you need some legal advice, make sure you contact them at 843-9000000. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
This has been Legal Perspective with Allie Menegakis.